For 60 days, 6,000 metal workers struck unofficially against wage restraint in face of huge inflation and against the sweetheart relationship between their union leaders and the government. Federal police moved in. 500 workers were sacked and 143 flung in jail without trial. Since then, union bully boys and police have continued to rub out troublemakers. One man handing out leaflets was machine-gunned from a police car. Another shot dead while painting a slogan on a wall. Though the strike is long over, the violence continues.
It was here on this dirt road that some railway workers discovered 3 bodies. One was that of a 29-year-old local lawyer, Dr. Concepcion Degrandis, and 2 of her clients. All 3 had been brutally murdered. They were filled up with lead, about 15 shots in each. Dr. Degrandis had disappeared about 24 hours previously from her office in the center of town. A car had arrived. Plainclothes police, armed to the teeth, had got out and taken her away, and that was the last time she was seen alive. Dr. Degrandis is not particularly well known either in legal circles or political ones, but there was one point of embarrassment in her record with the police, and that was that she was trying to serve on them a writ of habeas corpus to discover where some of her clients had disappeared to. The 2 other men had very little political form. One, although he was a shop steward, was also an evangelist, and he'd lost his job about a month previously. The second had no political connections at all. In the case of Dr. Degrandis, her eyes had been gouged out and her breasts cut off. She also may have been raped. As for the men, they were castrated. It would be idle to say that police investigations into this are getting anywhere, because they haven't even started.
At least 750 people have died in political violence this year, though at an official level nobody keeps count. In fact, it is those who do keep count, who do ask questions about police banditry, about union murders and official corruption, who are themselves likely to end up in a ditch. Lawyers and journalists are high on the list.
They leave a message with the porter, for instance, and the porter says, oh, they were looking for you around here. They were asking what time you leave the house, when you come back. So...
What's the effect on you?
The effect is one of fear, very, very severe nervousness. You start changing the way the road, or the ordinary route you walk home on. You try to take a bus instead of a train, and it's all useless, because if they're out to get you, they'll get you anyway.
But you must work, you must live, you must go in, you must every day to the tribunal, to your office, to your home. It's impossible to live in the underground and in your profession. It's impossible.
Why are you still alive?
This is very hard to, I don't know why. I say that this is like the Russian roulette. And sometime at 12 or 2 in the night, you are afraid, you say,
yes, yes.
That in there are some knock door,
yes,
or some ring bell. You are. I have afraid. I agree. This is the normal.
A growing part of that same sick normality is the unexpected knock at the door of a policeman. At 6:30 one morning in this down-at-heel Buenos Aires suburb, 2 cars pulled up. 5 men got out. 1 knocked on the door. The policeman who answered received 1 bullet in the brain. The remaining men then drilled the front of the house with at least 80 bullets. Before leaving, they blasted holes in the roof with 3 grenades, injuring the man's widow and 2 children.
This impressive building here behind me is the Ministry of Justice here in the center of Buenos Aires, which also houses Argentina's High Court. Just like the lawyers that practice before it, the judges that hand down its decisions are themselves subject to massive intimidation. Many examples have been quoted to me here during the last week, and the people who've spoken to me obviously don't want to appear in front of the camera. Just 2 examples. In the first, a lawyer who had filed a contempt of court action was told afterwards by the judge, after the motion had failed, that there was no way that he could have granted his application, simply because the judge would have later been found in a ditch full of bullets. In another application, and this was only 10 days ago, a second lawyer who'd applied for habeas corpus writs was told by the judge afterwards again that habeas corpus writs around here were really not worth having these days because there was a new policy currently being practiced by the authorities, and it's called laundering bodies. This nasty little phrase means just one thing. It means that those who are taken away and murdered by the police are subsequently transported to the interior, where they're then categorized, or their corpses are categorized, as being those of insurgents who fought against the army and lost. They're then immediately buried, and nobody hears any more about it.
Angel Robledo is a vice president of the ruling Peronist party. He is also Minister of the Interior and responsible for the police.
Why does the murder and intimidation of lawyers and judges go unpunished here at the moment?
No existe ninguna forma de proceder.
There is no set procedure for the investigation of terrorist actions, whoever is responsible for them.
De los actos terroristas, cualquiera fueran los ejecutores. Y allí también
Generalizations tend to be made which bear no relation to reality.
afirmación que no responde a la realidad. Los crímenes...
Crimes, whoever is affected by them, be they lawyers, journalists or ordinary citizens, are utterly repudiated by the government and are most energetically repressed. That is our position.
During my stay here, I have obtained testimony from people who have been tortured by the police, having been kidnapped. Why do you allow this to happen?
I would like to ask you whether these people who claim to be victims of such police action made lawful reports about these matters, because here justice operates with an absolute independence and has powers which are used every day to punish the police members who might be found guilty of such unlawful procedures.
The answer is that they're much too afraid to do so.
I can assure you that we will give guarantees to anybody who reports to the police.
Why do you allow right-wing terror gangs using unmarked police cars to operate with impunity?
It is absolutely untrue that these groups use unidentified police cars.
They're similar, in fact, in every respect, including the fact that they have two-way radios.
La mayoría de los coches de una misma marca son similares.
Most cars of the same make look alike.
Y con respecto a la utilización de radios,
As far as using radios and other technical devices,
es frecuente que
it is often found that terrorists use the police wave band to learn messages and to give false orders.
mensajes y para interceptar órdenes falsas.
The minister is categorically denying that police are involved in right-wing terrorist activities.
Absolutely, I deny it.
5 minutes after the minister's assurances, we left his office to find two unmarked, unregistered Ford Falcons right on his doorstep. As we filmed them, armed plainclothes police threatened to remove our film and arrest us.
This killing every day, this is possible only with official support.
That's a very serious accusation.
Yes, that is very serious, but this is the daily reality. Because every day you have 5, 10 killed.
Nobody does anything about it?
No.
On the day after this interview was filmed, 2 of this lawyer's friends were murdered and 4 more threatened. All were lawyers. His 30 missing clients are still missing. At the end of her speech, Isabel Perón asked the crowd to leave quietly and waved them goodbye. Indeed, they've seen little of her since. Yesterday, she entered hospital with a minor complaint, pausing only to denounce the journalistic terrorism which was pressing her to resign. As the assorted henchmen, party officials and ministers joined in the national hymn, they too must have wondered how much longer her presidency could survive. Hear mortals the sacred call, liberty, liberty, liberty. Hear the noise of breaking chains, sang the crowd. On the sidelines, watching, listening, prepared, the army. knowing that when Isabel is finally dislodged, they will surely inherit a crumbling economy, worsening civil disorder, and the ruins of a political dream, Peronism.